Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Asia and I am a first-time mom to a beautiful little baby. So today's video is going to be my pregnancy journey, and we're going to do this in parts because I'm going to do 3 parts. So I'm going to do first trimester, second trimester, and third trimester. So we're starting today with the first trimester. As you guys probably saw from my how I found out trying to conceive video, I found out in November, the first weekend of November. And so for the first week after I found out, I was fairly, everything was good. I was happy, I was feeling good, I was, a little bit tired still, like super hungry all the time still, just those same kind of symptoms that I talked about in my first video. If you haven't watched that video, you can click the link up here and it'll take you over there. And so after that weekend, the next weekend showed up, and it was actually on Diwali. So once Diwali hit, I will never forget the feeling that I felt. I basically hit a brick wall of morning sickness. I woke up in the morning and I was so ill. I was nauseous, I was exhausted, I was just everything. I was not feeling my best. And that day we had plans for Diwali to do, some little home celebrations, obviously, because it is COVID time right now. We are in the middle of a pandemic. And so we just did some home stuff with our family, and I was making Barfi. If you don't know what that is, it's like an Indian sweet. I'll post a picture of it here. I think I have a picture of me making it because it had been some content that I made for a brand that I was working with, and I really needed to get it done because I just thought it was going to be such a good idea especially for Diwali. It was just perfect. So I forced myself out of bed and made it and everything, and I just remember being so sick the entire time, and I know that that is exactly when my morning sickness started. So I pretty much had morning sickness up until 16 weeks, I believe, and it was the longest 16 weeks of my life. It was a lot of laying in bed, it was a lot of sleeping, there was not a lot of eating going on because I couldn't keep food down. It just was not happening for me. The smallest thing would bother me. I had a major food aversion to garlic and onion, which are 2 things that are cooked with in my household all the time. So having to not have that around was really, really hard. And it was like I did a complete 180. I was a different person. A lot of the foods that I wanted to eat, I couldn't eat anymore. I couldn't stand, I couldn't even think about without feeling nauseous and ill. I ended up sleeping with lemon slices beside my bed for when I woke up in the morning, because that is one of the only things that really helped me in the morning, was licking lemons. I know that sounds so strange, but I was Googling things and I was frantically trying to not feel as horrible as I did, because I did not do anything for the first trimester. I was bedridden because every time I got up, I just wanted to be sick. And I'm not somebody who enjoys being sick, so I would try my best to not do that. And that was one thing that I should have probably just done, is just let it out, because I would have felt a lot better. But because I didn't like it, I didn't want to do it. So I felt like shit all day instead of just getting it over with. I found it so difficult to go to my doctor's appointments. Any kind of appointment that I had, it was hectic. Let's just say that. Other than the morning sickness, obviously I had nausea. I was tired. The food aversions were horrible. I also had a hard time with my prenatals. I actually to this day cannot stand the smell of the prenatals that I was taking at the time. I was taking this specific vegan brand, and the smell was so strong that it would literally cause me to be sick, even post first trimester. Second trimester, third trimester, if I smelled that, I would literally get nauseous. And even now, if I smell them now, I'm feeling ill because it's just like an associated smell, I guess, something like that. But yeah, I cannot stand those anymore. Other than that, you know, things went fairly smooth. It was long, let's just say that. It felt long compared to the rest of my trimesters, just because I wasn't feeling good at all. Like I said, I couldn't eat. It was hard because there's a lot of things that I wanted to eat, but when I went to go do it, I couldn't. Fruit was a huge thing in my first trimester. I ate fruit. I had this one incident where somebody cut some fruit with a knife that I guess maybe they had cut garlic with previously, and I ate the fruit, but I could taste the garlic because your sense of smell and your sense of taste are so heightened. And I just remember being so ill after that. It was not fun at all because I had been feeling okay, and then I got that fruit, and then it all went downhill from there. It was wonderful. So thinking back now, I'm like, okay, I literally felt like I had a hangover for 16 weeks straight. That's the best way that I can describe it, that people will understand, because most people have probably had a hangover, and a fairly decent hangover, and that is the best way that I can describe it, is that I had, you know, a 16-week long hangover. I gotta say, that was probably the main focus of my first trimester. I just tried to force through things, and you know, it was a huge contrast compared to what I was just a couple weeks before, where I was eating a ton, like when I just found out, and I was eating a ton, and I was, you know, just fatigued. I mean, I was fatigued, I guess, from in the first trimester when I actually found out as well. But the big thing was, like, I went from eating a ton, so I guess my body was like, okay, let's get all these calories now, because when you find out and in a couple weeks you're not going to be able to eat very much, so we got to get you, you know, get you eating before, and then prepare yourself for not eating for 16 weeks. It was pretty intense. And other than that, that's pretty much what I can sum up my first trimester as, because there wasn't a lot going on. You know, we had our little scan, and you know, we got to see the baby for the first time, and that was amazing. That was, you know, I can't even say we, because unfortunately, because of the pandemic that we're in, my husband wasn't able to come to any of the appointments with me. He wasn't able to come to the ultrasounds, which is really sad, because I would have loved for him, especially us being first-time parents, to do all of this together. But you know, I guess it is what it is. We decided to do it during a pandemic, and he got to meet him when he came out. I mean, he saw the pictures when I brought them home, because I pretty much just, every time we were able to get pictures after, either ask for them or pay for them or whatever happened. And yeah, it's an interesting time. It was a lot of learning. It was a lot of just trying to survive, really. So that's kind of how my first trimester played out. Let me know that you guys want to see the second trimester, which has a little bit more information. This one just is what it is. I don't have much to talk about because I was just so sick the entire time. I did not film a proper outro. I don't know what happened, but I hope you all enjoyed this video. You learned something about pregnancy, about my pregnancy, and maybe you had the same experience as me. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.